Hi everybody, Jeff Feierfeil, Cirtas Systems, and today I'm going to talk about flexibility. And flexibility as it relates to the cloud storage provider, APIs, and the various cloud providers that are out there, and sort of some things you need to think about as you approach the cloud with your specific applications. So one of the first things you need to think about is there's a lot of APIs out there. There's multiple APIs. So you need to make sure that you consider this, which API are you going to start with, for instance, and how many do you want to actually support for your application. The second is you have to worry about cloud provider vendor lock-in. Obviously, you don't want to be tied to one specific API, then have it change up on you at some point midstream. You want to have the flexibility to move to something else if you need. And then the third thing is what I would more consider sort of this application-specific versus infrastructure approach. And I'll get to that in a second. So to take a look at the multiple APIs aspect, if you think about using just natively redoing your applications so they talk to the cloud, using the cloud provider's APIs, that's well and good, but you generally have to do a lot of development, a lot of testing with that specific application, with that specific API, and then you get it just right. But that's just one application, and you might have tons of applications in your environment. So you really want to choose a cloud controller that sort of gives you the ability to have multiple applications running to the cloud simultaneously, but be able to manage it from one point. So you want to have a cloud controller that supports multiple cloud provider APIs. Secondly, you want to be able to provide sort of what I call vendor lock-in. So for instance, if we take the native approach, which is more of an application-specific integration to the cloud, if this is my cloud provider one and they suddenly go out of business, moving to the next cloud is going to be tough because I'm going to have to rechange all these APIs, and have to do some development, some testing, and then there's I need to somehow get my data from here back to here again. With a cloud controllers type solution that already supports multiple providers, that's not an issue. You just simply create another pool or another set of volumes that point to this second cloud provider, and your applications keep working as they normally would. Any kind of data migration that needs to happen happens. You just pull the data back to the controller and back up to the other cloud, but your application doesn't have to be aware of that, or it mitigates the impact or the disruption on your current infrastructure. And then the third thing, which is sort of, do you want to choose something that's more app-specific versus infrastructure? And ideally, a cloud controller type solution is more of an infrastructure play. If you think about how you want to manage your cloud storage, you want to have sort of one management interface. You want to have one place where all your volumes are defined. You want to use industry standard protocols like iSCSI, CIFS, and NFS to talk to your application servers versus some esoteric REST or SOAP APIs over here, which you have to change every time something here changes. Secondly, some of the more advanced functionalities that you might be accustomed to, things like snapshots, volumes, thin provisioning, aren't things you're going to get with an application-specific sort of approach. So again, you're going to want to choose something that's more infrastructure-specific. Cirtas BlueJet addresses all three of these. The BlueJet supports multiple APIs, Amazon S3, EMC Atmos, AT&T Synaptic, others as we follow on, and we test these. We do performance analysis, so by the time you actually implement the solution, you have a very well-tested solution with a number of specific cloud providers which you can pick from. Second, we prevent the vendor lock-in issue because since we support multiple vendors out of the box, your ability to move between cloud providers is very flexible. You can literally have multiple cloud providers simultaneously to different volumes on the BlueJet, and then have different applications talk to those volumes. It gives you ultimate flexibility in that regard. And then of course the BlueJet is an infrastructure specific solution. It does offer the capability to have one management console for all your providers, all your volumes that are being provisioned out to your clients, the ability to do snapshots, the ability to do effective WAN optimization and deduplication. All these things are leveraged in one box that completely is transparent to your applications. versus something more application specific here. So to net it out, you want to look at these three things as you approach the cloud with respect to flexibility. The first is you want to make sure you pick a cloud provider or pick a solution that encompasses multiple cloud providers, APIs. Secondly, you want to make sure whatever solution you go with gives you the flexibility to change between cloud providers and not be worried or having all your data within one particular cloud provider. And lastly, you want to pick an infrastructure-specific cloud provider, a controller, such that all your applications can leverage the value benefits of a single machine that does your provisioning, your snapshots, your bandwidth aggregation, all that type of thing.